What's up, guys? This is Corey with the Dirt City Gym, back in another video for y'all today. So today we're going to be taking a look at some budget builds. So I want everyone, we're going to pay attention to this. I got this comment on one of my videos the other day here from Scott Slater. And he's basically saying, hey, you know, it'd be cool to do like a building a budget series, particular day of the week. Could be fun doing $20 decks, so on and so forth. So first of all, thanks Scott for those comments. It's really awesome for the suggestions and everything like that. So I've kind of been thinking about this. We kind of did some budget builds before. I didn't kind of stick with it for various reasons, but since it's been asked, we're going to try to get back into it. The caveat being is that I don't know that I feel comfortable putting out decks that are $20 or so. While I understand the value in those, I just don't know. I feel like at that point you're being way too conservative. I'm sure there are decks that can like succeed at that price point. I've got one that I'm tinkering with right now. I'm just not like super happy with it. Whenever I get the list down path, we'll probably cover it. But I want to stick with more in that $50 range. I feel like that's more comfortable for majority of people. Like I feel like if you're getting into a card game, if you kind of can't spend the $50, maybe you're in the wrong space. Maybe you should kind of invest a little bit differently. But I think $50 is probably pretty safe. I think we could pretty comfortably build lists on a regular basis that kind of fit in that budget range. So today in particular, I wanted to take a look at a regular big meta deck, one of the big four right now, and that is Starter Broly. So we're going to take a look at what normally Starter Broly looks like and how expensive it is, because it's really up there as one of the more expensive decks in the format. And then some of the changes that we're making in order to get it down within our budget. We're able to get this to about $48, $49, kind of in that range right there, just kind of depending on where you buy your cards and everything like that. So let's go ahead and get on over to the lists. Alright, so first up, let's get over here into the expensive Broly. So your traditional kind of green-yellow Broly, you're looking at upwards of 400 bucks. Maybe more depending on all that kind of stuff. So the big things that you're looking at is like your Broly Ultimate Agent of Destruction, SCR. That's a $280 card. We don't have time for that. Then you get into the Paragus Sacrifice. Those are running, you know, 12, 13 bucks a pop, if not more. If you go for a playset, you're looking at 60 something dollars right there. And then you move over to things like the Super Combo, the Defending Father Paragus. Just a playset of those is like 25 bucks. So right there, we're just on all sorts of like really expensive stuff. Now, obviously this is the traditional type build that you're looking at when you're looking at a Broly, but I think we can do a little bit better that gets us more in what we're talking about. So the list I have for us today is ringing in. So right now this is listed as $52.27. It's actually going to be cheaper than that. Right now, the only option for me to pick for the Scientist Fu is the current Scientist Fu that way, or the original Scientist Fu. But if you were to price out the Ultimate, or not Ultimate Box, Anniversary Box Scientist Fu, those are much cheaper. Those are like $1.50 a piece, versus these are like $3.50. So we're playing two Scientist Fu in the build. That's getting us like to $3, so we're cutting us $4 short of whatever this is listing right here right now. So like I said, we're getting in that $48, $49 range, so pretty good there. So let's go ahead and get into the actual list, and we'll go over all that. So we've got our Broly leader here. For those of you who are unaware, he's Broly and then Broly Evo Unleashed on the back. He's got Activate Main. Choose the 1 green, freeze his army card with energy cost of 1 from your deck, and then add it to your hand, then shuffle your deck and negate this skill for the duration of the game, and then awaken whenever your life is at 4 or less. You may draw 1 card, then choose up to 1 of your energy and switch it up to active mode, then flip his card over, and then on the backside he's got permanent. If there are 2 more battle cards in play in your battle area, you can't play battle cards. And then auto sparking 7. Whenever this card attacks, you can draw cards up into your hand until you have 6, and then activate main once per turn. Choose one of your battle cards and one of your opponent's battle cards, KO the chosen cards. Interesting about his secondary effect there on the backside is that is a mandatory effect. You both have to have a battle card in order for you to get that off. So you can't just like pop your own battle card or just pop your opponent's battle card if you have nothing in play. So looking at that. Getting on into the actual list, so we get 2-hour Furthering Destruction Champa, just pretty standard. You're going to see these in majority of decks in general, but this is just our double strike card that we can kind of close out games with. So 1 10k, so it's good there. Moving on into that, we've got 3 Broly Unrealized Ambition. This is really kind of what gets us going. We're only running 3 because after really turn 1, turn 2, this card never really sees play again. And with a couple of the decks that are in the format right now, you really don't want to have these just chilling out in your hand. If someone were to Clanetera and Mecha Frieza and put this out into play, sometimes you could just lose the game depending on where you're at in life as it is. So we're only running 3, but he is a 1-drop 10k auto whenever you play this card from your hand. If your leader card is a green Frieza's Army card, choose 2 cards from your life and add them to your hand, and then auto whenever this card is removed from battle area by a skill or KO'd. And if your leader card is a green Frieza's Army card, choose the 1 or 2 cards from your life and add them to your hand, then choose 1 green Broly BR card with an energy cost of 4 from your hand and play it. So like I said, this is really how we're getting our chain going. We're going up the Broly line with him. Next up, we've got 2 Golemite, the new breed, so it's a 1-drop 1k. Auto whenever you combo with this card during your turn, choose up to 1 of your Broly BR cards, and it gets plus 5,000 power for the duration of the turn. So this is really good. Whenever you combo with this card, you're effectively giving 1 of your Broly cards plus 10k for free, which is really, really strong. This works for both your leader and 1 of your Broly battle cards, so you can just like a free 10k, which is really, really good. Next up, we've got 4 Paragus, the Rampage trigger. So he's a 2-drop 1 green. Auto, whenever you play this card from your hand, choose the 1 Broly control mechanism from your deck and activate it, then shuffle your deck. And then activate main, choose this card and 1 card in your battle area and place them in their owner's drop area. Choose 1. Choose up to 1 Broly BR card with an energy cost of 6 or less from your deck and add it to your hand, then shuffle your deck. Or choose up to 1 Broly BR card from your drop area and then add it to your hand. So normally you're playing like a split of this and Paragus to Sacrifice, maybe leaning more towards Paragus to Sacrifice, but like we talked about, Paragus to Sacrifice is expensive, though he is really what our engine's going to be revolved around this and then the Broly control mechanism to really get our stuff going. Alright, next up we've got Broly Berserker Origins, excuse me. So he's a 4-drop, 2 green, 15k. Activate battle once per turn. Choose 1 card from your hand and place it in your drop area. Choose the 1 of your opponent's battle cards with an energy cost of 3 or less and KO it. And then auto, whenever this card is removed from battle area by a skill or KO'd, if your leader card is green, Frieza's Army card, you may choose 2 cards from your hand and place them in your drop area. If you do, choose the 1 green Broly BR card with an energy cost of 6 from your hand and play it. So this is our next step up the chain. We go from the 1-drop into the 4-drop. And then the 4-drop will go into the 6-drop. So we've got Broly Power Unleashed. Double Strike Permanent. He's a 25k, he's a 6-drop. And then he's got the permanent during battles where this card is attacking. Your opponent can't activate counter skills at an energy cost of 2 or more. So we're looking at Mafuba here. There's some new ones that are relevant. You've got like the Kaba that negate, like, has a Bloodlust type effect that are already in play battle card. That's a 2-cost counter card, so that would be relevant there too. And then activate battle once per turn. Choose 1 card from your hand and place it in your drop area. Choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards and KO it. And then auto, whenever this card is removed from battle area by a skill or KO'd, you may choose 2 cards from your hand, place them in the drop area. If you do, choose the 1 green Broly BR card with an energy cost of 8 from your hand and play it. So more oftentimes than not, this is going to be the guy that we're going to be sitting on. He's kind of our... He's not like our big bad threat, but he's going to be the one that's going to be out there probably more often than not, just kind of swinging in for 25 double strike, which is really good. He's just kind of, we let him sit there and they either figure it out and deal with him, which lets us go up the chain, or he just kind of sits there and kind of closes out games by himself. Then next up, we've got 4 Broly Limits Transcended. So he is an 8-drop, 35k double strike permanent. During battles where this card is attacking, your opponent can't activate counter skills at energy cost of 2 or more. Same thing as the 6-drop, so this deals with like Mafuba and things like that. And then activate battle once per turn. Choose 1 card from your hand, place it in your drop area, choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier, and KO it. So interesting thing that I don't think I mentioned actually with all these Broly, these activate skills. These are all activate battles, so these can be done on either yours or your opponent's turn, which is incredibly strong. This can just really, whether it's saving your own Brolys, someone saving in from someone dumping their hand and going ham that way. Obviously only the big 8-drop deals with barrier cards, so really effectively deals with anything that's not indestructible. But just all these Broly's in general have that similar type of effect where they can deal with stuff. And then finally, we've got 2 Scientist Fu. So he's a 7-drop, Overwhelm for 7, for 1 energy, Double Strike 25k, then auto whenever you play this card with Overwhelm, draw 2 cards. Just a really great way to kind of replenish the hand. He can kind of close out games himself. Being 25 Double Strike is just really good numbers to have. And then for our super combo, so we have a couple different options here. I went ahead and went with the ever dependable Bulma. She's the green super combo from Clash of Fates. She's an auto whenever you. She's a 0/0k, which isn't great, but she's auto whenever you combo with this card. Your leader card is a Shenron card or a green Saiyan card, and your life is at 5 or less. Draw 1 card, and it gets plus 10k for the duration of the turn. So we went with this over some of the other options like the Piccolo or different things like that, just because this does let us go at 5 or less life. We can activate it at 5. It doesn't have to be at 4. So if someone's trying to get us to awkward numbers from like 5 to 3, we can use this to kind of stay above that, which is pretty good for us. Obviously, you'd like it to be a 0/10k, but I think this works out a little bit better for us. Obviously, in a perfect situation, you're running Paragus like all day. That is like the best super combo in the game, and it fits with this leader. But like I said, Paragus is like $8 a pop, so you don't really want to have to go throwing those money out for that. Now, if you've got them, use them. Some other options that you do have is like there's the green Piccolo super combo, which is if your life is at 4 or less. You can also run that with like Assimilate, which lets you just go find your Namekian card with energy cost of 2 or less and put it in your hand. So that's not too bad, but like I said, I just feel like this 5 or less life is a pretty good effect for us. And then getting on our extra cards, so we've got 3 Broly control mechanisms. So it's a 1-drop, 1 green. It's a field card, and then it's an activate main. Place this card in its owner's drop area. Choose 1 Broly BR card in your battle area. Place it in its owner's drop area and draw 1 card. Like I said, this is how we're kind of getting up our chain. This is a pretty standard card in Broly builds. We're utilizing it probably a little bit more than majority normally would do because we're not running Paragus to sacrifice. So we have to really lean on this more than a traditional Broly would. Next up, we've got 4 Shocking Death Ball, so it's a R-Star Green Negate. So 1 cost, Sparking 5, and then whenever you negate the attack, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards with an energy cost of 2 or less and KO it. One of the best negates in the game, which continues to be. Removing battle cards on your opponent's turn is just always great, and just having a sparking option is really good. Next up, we've got our Tragic Awakening, so it's a 3 cost, activate main Sparking 7. If our leader card is a green Frieza's Army card, choose 1 of our energy and place it in your drop area. Then choose up to 1 Broly BR card with energy cost of 6 or less from your drop area and play it. So this works twofold. This is if something happens and our Brolys get killed before we can kind of go up the ladder, this lets us get those back out quickly without having to go all the way up from 1 drop, 4 drop, 6 drop. This can go straight into the 6 drop. Another thing is if we've already got the 6 drop out and we're already doing great with that, this just lets us get out another one and we can start really pressuring with 2, or we have an 8 drop and a 6 drop out and we just have a ton of pressure going on. Just a really great extra card in general. Next up into our yellow package, so we've got 2 Battering Laser. Just everyone pretty much knows what this is by now, but it's just a really great to kind of finish out the game. If someone's saving a negate for a big double strike, you can just go Battering and just kind of end that. Next up, we've got 3 Cold Bloodlust, just a really great effect. We are Frieza's Army leader, so we can just negate skills. If things are trying to come in and KO our Brolys or something like that, you can just Bloodlust it and stop that from happening. Next up, we've got 3 Flying Nimbus. Broly is sometimes susceptible to aggro or really go wide strategies. That's a way to kind of limit the effectiveness of the 6 and 8 drop Broly's pop effect. So Nimbus kind of lets us take care of those. And then finally, 4 Frieza's Call. So this is a 1 yellow, activate main, choose 1 Frieza's Army card with energy cost of 2 or less from your deck, and then play it in rest mode, then shuffle your deck. So this works a couple different ways. For one, it's if we go first and we have maybe a crappy hand or whatever it is, we can just pay 1 yellow and go get our Broly Unrealized Ambition. We can do that, or we can, on turn 2, if we already have the Unrealized Ambition out, we can pay 1 and then go get Paragus the Rampage trigger and just kind of start going up the chain that way. It keeps us from never having to pay 2 for the Rampage trigger, which is really nice for us, and it just keeps our options open to make sure we can always hit that 1 drop whenever we need to. Even later in the game, if something comes up, we can just activate it that way. So, like I said, general kind of strategies with the deck are obviously you're getting the 1-drop, you're stacking it with the Rampage trigger, then you're going up into the 4-drop, you're swinging with that, and then you're activating the control mechanism, which you already have in play from the Rampage trigger. Now you're going up into the 6-drop, 6-drop swinging. Maybe you can awaken at that point, and then if your opponent has a battle card in play, then you can sack both of them, then go up into 8-drop. You can do that as early as turn 2, which is pretty nuts. Obviously, you don't necessarily always want to have to do that. If you can go up to the 6-drop on turn 2, that's ideal. That's really the best way to go. And then, like I said, you just kind of sit on that and you force them to deal with the 6-drop instead of just sacking it yourself. Whenever you get to that situation where you just sack it yourself, play the 8-drop, Tragic Awakening, bring back out the 6-drop, swing with your leader, refill back the hand, and you just got all this sorts of stuff going on. All in all, obviously, it's not nearly as strong as the full big budget version of Broly, which that's not what we're trying to be. We're trying to make this more affordable for people who want to get into this type of deck, this meta type of deck. It's one of the top 4 decks in the format right now, but just can't justify paying for a Broly SCR and all the Paraguses and the super combos and things like that, or just honestly just can't afford it. I would like to play the expensive Broly deck, but I can't even afford the decks myself. Like, it's super expensive. So that keeps me away. That's a barrier of entry for a lot of people right there. But anyway, guys, that is it. If you have any suggestions for more budget builds down the road, I'm going to try to keep this as a weekly thing going on. We're going to try to keep looking at these meta decks and try to make them fit in within our budget, but we'll kind of see how that goes. We may veer off that path a little bit. That's it, guys, and we will see y'all next time.